So the segment is really clear and it is technical. In this image, you can see that the user and mood are clear. You can see that they are young people. They are not too fancy. They are essential. And they have like real technical shoes. So here we see his point of view on the geometrical and form inspirations. This is something can be really like personalized. You can put all the images that you like, which you think that is going to be interesting to use. And now we will see in his design how he could use even this part for the lug creation, and you see this geometry. So it is important to see this mood board and then look at the design, keeping in mind these images. So this is the black and white design. I think the proportions are perfect. You see the shank area is perfect. The projection is really good. He's using dual density lug, which is doable. And he separated it, color dam, which is quite important because without the color dams, we cannot do another compound or we cannot introduce another color because this is rubber. So he has rubber heel protector. So the sole splits up here. This is the outline of the sole. And then here we have the midsole, which is a PU midsole. So Nelson, why did you choose PU instead of EVA?
PU, just from my understanding, for durability and long lasting, it keeps its bounce. Does it impress, I guess, the same way?
Yes. I mean, this design, also as an extra information I'm giving you, this can be even co-molded. Why? Because PU can be also poured, not injected. The pouring process, you can pour it with the outsole inside the mold. So this means that you can make a nice co-molding. There is no glue, there is no delamination, it will never unglue. So it is even more durable. That's why when we make a PU midsole and a rubber outsole, we can always ask the manufacturer if they can co-mold it. And if there are adjustments, like for example, here in this area, you see that there's a very sharp angle. Most probably you would round it up a little bit and the material would flow perfectly well. And this is a good example of PU midsole and the rubber outsole without any glues, which is also more sustainable in a way. So we have the dual density, and what he did is a softer rubber accommodate different terrain, which means that these move a little bit more, they adapt the ground a little bit more, and then the other part, which is really on the perimeter, should be stiff, should be stable. There is no joke about that. We have, like good sturdy lugs. They are really like well distributed. They have the whole self-cleaning areas where the mud will not stuck. We have the colored version. You used markers, right?
Yeah, I just as an experiment, I went back to some of the stuff I used to do. So yeah, I went markers for this one.
I think it's excellent. I remember my days in Vibram, because this is how I started, Nelson. Exactly like this. What you did is what we were delivering to the client. This works perfectly well. Never doubt about the tool that you're using, because it doesn't matter if you do a digital design, which is super wow and 3D. Of course, it's a nicer presentation, but this is perfect to send a client to take their first impressions. Also, this one, perfect. You see the sole, how it is. And then you look at this and then you say, okay, I understand what is popping out, what is recessed, what is touching the ground, what is not. So it is quite clear. Doesn't have to be super, super fancy, like super digital design. If you have time, you're going to do that, of course, because I do them all in Illustrator and I render them super clean. The last, like definitive design will go like that. But this is perfectly fine. One thing is the ground line. Never forget it. You didn't have it, so I added that. I know that you have it here, but you should have it also here, okay? When we do the sole design. So the midsole in PU is for durability. That's why I asked you. I wanted to understand your approach, so it was correct. What we have seen also here, he drew the sole on the last, how it should be. This is the right way to do that. And then what he did, he took his sole and he just made a simulation with an upper silhouette. We can also change this, have a lower boot, have some other boot. So it's a perfect way. I do this a lot also, just as you did, like very faded silhouette, just to see how it looks together. Now we have the real understanding of the proportions of the integration of upper and the outsole. So one thing, I understand that you have done the midsole and the outsole both black, but I think it's better showing the design rendering with midsole, outsole in different colors, because I think it will also show the proportions. Now we are coming to the question that you asked. When you see this design, what do you think? Is this a little bit too much, or would you lower it down now?
Yeah, I guess I decided that it was just going to be all black, but you're right. It should be a more versatile mold. And when I look at it the way you did it, yeah, it looks too high. The peak towards the front looks like it's too close to the top, like it's interfering.
Yes,
yeah.
Now, I'm glad that you see that now, because a sole will never be one color.
Yeah.
When we design a sole, we should be able to see from the beginning. I do it, when I do it in Illustrator, I start, or even before, I start to color it immediately. I do the outsole black, and then we'll do the PU like this, maybe even like a lime color or something, so that I will see the proportions of the outsole and midsole, how they react together. I think, I would maybe follow this line a little bit more. I would change it. You see that here, the harmony is not perfect. So in the second design, when you're doing it on Illustrator, you can start to fine-tune this design.
One thing I wasn't sure with the perimeter lugs, like, are they too flat?
No.
That looks good to you. Okay.
They have a horizontal cut, which will make them a little bit more flexible, which you see the grooves, and making them dual density like this, they are split again. So they are super fine. It's very important in the technical tracking. And as you see, guys, it is not really high. The midsole is quite low actually here, because it is technical. It is not a Hoka sole. It is not an ultra trail running sole. It's not maximalist, but it's not even minimalist. This is a very regular height of a midsole, which is correct, because I can feel the terrain. And it doesn't pop out too much. It doesn't make a huge heel, so that I really, where I put my feet, under my feet, I know what's going on. The perception of the space under your foot is what you naturally have. It's not altered. So in the very technical tracking, this is what we do. Okay, so compliments, bravo.
Thank you. I was going to say, is it common to do a dual density? That was something I wasn't sure about in hiking.
It's not very common because it is expensive.
Right. Okay.
What we do is sometimes do some inserts, which are, like the Arctic grip of Vibram, which is like anti-slip something, where we have really like a winter sole, which is very, very technical, where that compound is really needed and is super added value functionally. Then we're going to, this one, yes, it can be done. It's a little bit spoiled. We don't do it because it's a size price. It's not very common to do dual density in trekking. And if we have an added value like Vibram's Arctic grip inserts, maybe for snow or anything, we can use that. But, I think it's a good idea. I really like it. I like when you are designing, you push the limits and try with the like the compounds and some special stuff that we can really, enrich the sole as look, but also as function.